Okay, fellas, here's where we're at with the paintball. There's been a little snag. Who'd have thought it would be so darn hard to source a piece of 3/8 by 3/8 soft steel flat bar? I mean, I've been everywhere and I can't find it. I finally just said, hey, I'm just going to order a piece of 3/8 by 3/8 aluminum flat bar from Granger. It's like $6. The problem is it'll take 4 or 5 days to get here. So until then, I'll probably go back to working on the lower. I'll get to that in just a second. The design for the paintball cannon is coming together pretty nice. I mocked it up in plastic, okay, and the plastic mock-up is a real hack job. There's not a square corner on the whole darn thing, but it showed me what I needed to know and taught me what it needed to teach me to be able to put this in. First, my plastic mock-up is much too small. My inner frame is actually going to end up being about the size of what this outer frame is right now. But the paintball cannon will sit right there, and it'll sit on its side, and it'll be attached at the front here. So it will have traverse and it will have elevation. Okay, you can see that I've really hacked up the opus. I cut the trigger guard off, I cut most of the handle off, hoping to be able to mount a servo right in here. Obviously we'll have to modify it, but I might be able to drill and tap holes and all that stuff to hold it, mount a servo right there to pull the trigger for me. Okay, and I've shortened the handle here and retapped for the fitting. I got to get a different fitting here. I'm going to need just a straight in fitting. And then I'm hoping to be able to use a piece of flexible, like braided line. We've got a place locally that makes them however you want, so that's no problem. It won't be like the flat bar. It should go pretty smooth. But I picked up the bottle. This is a 4-ounce CO2 bottle. I picked up 2 of them. They don't make these or sell them anymore for paintball, but you can still get them from the places that do CO2 for home soda fountains, for like Coca-Cola and stuff, you know. And I picked up this other piece. You can see this unscrews here, just this section here. This is an on-off, and what that'll do is I can turn the gas off, and it allows the built-up gas to vent. Because if you don't do that, what happens is when you try to unscrew the bottle, that CO2 is going to freeze your O-ring and destroy it. So you either end up replacing the O-ring every time, or So I put the on-off in for the gas, and then from here, I'll just have a short piece of braided steel tubing hose to take the CO2 to the gun. Alright, I'll mount servos for elevation. I might be able to do something right here. I was thinking for elevation, and maybe for traverse I might be able to clamp on the end. None of that is set in stone, but the mock-up that I did is so that you can see the paintball cannon is going to fit in like this, okay? And in the center there's going to be a trunnion, which is yet to be made, and these 2 posts will actually be attached to the trunnion, and that'll give you elevation up and down on the cannon, and then the frame turns within the frame to get traverse. Okay, so it's a pretty simple system. When it's done, I'll put in some gussets to hold everything in place. I might use some of that fiberglass impregnated auto body filler, and just to make it a nice strong solid mount, because my center of gravity is definitely off on the paintball gun. And when I add the other barrel, that'll help some. But that's something that still has to be determined. I'm probably going to shorten this barrel and then sleeve one end of the tank barrel to fit on there. And that'll go like so. So that's where we're at with paintball. I'm going to go order the flat bar, and then I'm going to get back to work on the photo etch brass. You can see I've got one fender. Now this is just a mock-up. Everything's bolted in place, but nothing's epoxied in yet. And even the pieces of photo etch have to be epoxied together. There's a couple of layers there, and they also need to be bent. It gets bent down along the outside. It's way more than my little etch mate can handle. So I'll have to figure something out, but we'll get that taken care of. And I'll probably work just on that today. Work some more on the lower. The rear is pretty much coming in pretty nice. Now, before you guys even get on me about this crap, alright, I know that I put the spare track links on upside down. I've got the wing nut going down here, and it should be at the top. But the reason that I did that is because once you put the exhaust in, because they changed the exhaust, the original kit had a resin exhaust where it was much shorter. The end was much closer to the tube, and the spare track links would fit in there. But with this in here, you can't get that top spare track link in, so I flipped them upside down, and that took care of the problem. And for the rivet counters among you, just remember, sometimes form has to follow function. So that's where we're at. That's what we'll be doing today. We'll keep you posted. See you next time.